everyone, and welcome to my May plan with me and my Hobonichi slash bullet journal setup that I have going. So I realized I did not do an April plan with me. That's because the beginning of April was really busy, and I was literally traveling up until April started. And then on top of that, the start of April was also the start of a new school term for me. And next thing I know, I'm halfway through April, and it's like, well, I can't really post a plan with me anymore. So I'm going to do a bit of a flip through of both March and April, and also show you some of the things that I've changed and how I use both my dotted Leuchtturm that I have up front and in the Hobonichi. The Leuchtturm with the collections and stuff hasn't changed too much. I've pulled it out of the sleeve for the moment because I'm going to be referencing some of my brainstorming ideas for the month of May, and I want to be able to see it while I'm planning May out. I now actually keep a Hobonichi stencil up front here along with my Once More with Love stickers, which I'm going to go ahead and pull these out because I will probably want to use them in the planning process. So first with the Leuchtturm, things are going well. Still haven't filled out the index or anything, but I have successfully managed to accomplish a new goal. Namely, I got a job. I've now officially signed paperwork, so I can say I have a job for the upcoming academic year, and I'm really excited to be starting that. So, yeah, things are really going to change, and I'm going to have a very hectic summer from needing to move to a new place and get set to start this new job. But I hope you guys will be patient with me and join me on this journey. So there's that. And then because of everything, I've now started to fill in some of the information for later in the year, like when my fall term starts and when it ends, because that was information I didn't have. I still do need to do the rest of the year and figure out where I want to input my goals and stuff, but I'm starting to actually have things to do with that now. My pain tracker, my anxiety tracker are coming along well, and I know it's interesting because the correlation I used to have between my good moods and my better pain days, that correlation has kind of gone out the window. And I think that's because since I live in the Pacific Northwest at the moment, I now get better weather at this time. And as a result, my mood overall is generally better. And certainly since I've gotten a job, my mood has been really good. And it's why I've had so many good days for the last, well, almost 2 months. And I'm really happy about that. Just with the weather change, the getting a job. So, like, my anxiety's calmed down a lot. Unfortunately, my body isn't wanting to feel as good, but at the very least, my head is feeling okay. Not much has changed in regards to my Audible tracker. I haven't been keeping up with my waiting on list at all. I forget if I even showed this at one point, but like the applications I was working on. And then I made kind of a dump of all the tasks that I need to do for graduation, and my defense is scheduled, and I'm just in the process of editing my thesis and all the other little things, but a lot of the paperwork and stuff is taken care of. I've started doing an actual skincare routine now. So this was to kind of outline to me all the steps and what order I do that in. And then at the beginning of April, because like I said, there was a lot going on and I was feeling overwhelmed, so I did a huge brain dump. And then this page sat blank for a while. But this is the page I'm going to use for setting up the month of May in my Hobonichi, which is why I've pulled this out to begin with. But the other things I've done is planning for my gaming channel to make sure I get all of that stuff filmed, because that is easy for me to film in advance, whereas the plan with me is not so much. And then on the next page, it's kind of a little dashboard spread where I'm like, okay, well, what are the next tasks that I need to do in these various games? And the page after that is kind of my academic calendar for the next year, which I'm not going to show for privacy reasons, because it has what university I'm working at. But that is where the Lloyd's term is sitting at the moment. And then over in the Hobonichi, I'm now keeping this little card. This is a die cut that, well, yeah, it's kind of a die cut that my mom did for me, of this panda sitting on this circular bamboo thing. And it's just really cute, so I keep it in here. I'm going to turn that the other way. Then I have not really been keeping up with anything up here, but that's okay. I don't really use it. And then my monthlies have been going well. I've gone through and decorated them. So March wound up being very colorful. I forget if I actually showed that in my March plan with me, but it is very colorful. And then April, I just used some of my favorite washi from Simply Gilded, and otherwise kept the information really simple. And I didn't have any travel this month, which is why there's not all the little washi going around and around. And then the month of May, I went back to it being really simple. And then June is also decorated. But the month of May, I have a lot that I'm doing. So, yeah. You'll also note that I've moved my Ollie clip now so that way it clips the month to my current week. And I did that because the amount of space between my current day and my current week was getting to be really, really big, and like pages would sometimes fall out. So that's why I've changed that. But speaking of my current week, I've changed my setup. And so now I'm just going to remove this for the time being. What I used to have was, back towards the beginning of March, is I would have kind of my calendar layout for the week where I had my time commitments and stuff. And then I had time commitments this week. I just didn't even bother filling it out. Because I think that was, that was just the last week with classes and term. And then I switched to this kind of layout where I more track on the weekly spreads versus anything else. And I thought about trying to track my water intake, but it's not useful for me to have that up here. So instead, what I switched to, and what I've been using, first week of classes, that really didn't work out quite so well, is this kind of layout wherein I have like my top 5 tasks for the day, any meetings and appointments, places that I have to be, any research tasks that I've done that day, any TA related tasks I've done that day since I'm a teaching assistant, what kind of videos I was watching on YouTube, things that I've done for YouTube, and then things that I've done for self-care. And if in one or two, like a few words, I could like have something positive to say about the day, that would go down here. And that's if I like really wanted to highlight something specific. So some examples of that were when I got my first job offer, when I accepted said job offer, and when I got my second job offer, which I can stack the two jobs. So, because my contract for the first job offer is only for one academic year. So that's kind of where I'm at. And then I had my first day of spring term marked, along with like days where I was traveling, and when I went to go see Cirque du Soleil's Amaluna. So those are just some examples of things that I've had. Oh yeah, I can kind of show you how I decorated for July and June, because I think those came out really cute. So I'm gonna go ahead and clip these back together and make my way over to March. So beginning of March, I was actually out of town at the very beginning of March because I was on the opposite side of the country visiting my sister because it was her birthday on March 1st. And I happened to have a conference nearby, and I was just like, you know what? I'll go out for my conference a few days early and be with my sister for her birthday. So I got to be there with her. I was trying to do the Llamas Love Lettering and Doodle Challenge, which that lasts for a few days. And I don't think I do too bad with it. And then I kind of give up on it. I wound up not doing a whole lot of planning because I was at this conference. And so to kind of experiment with something, I had just gotten home, I think, on this day. And so the day after, I was trying to figure out, well, what's a way I could fill up a lot of space that would be pretty and would look interesting. And so I decided to kind of fill this in with some Simply Gilded washi, just to kind of see what it would look like. And I like how it came out. So yeah, it might be something I try in the future, but not something I do on a regular basis because this was actually fairly time consuming. So then it's pretty much just usual day in, day out. Here's my planning. Oh yeah, I got like one of my first Happy Scrappy orders that arrived on this day. And so I put the sticker there. Then I reached the end of the month, not doing a whole lot because I was on spring break. Saw Cirque du Soleil's Amaluna. Had nothing else to really put on this day and was just like, okay. So you may note that while I was on spring break, I, instead of like not having anything next to my pain anxiety like I do previously, I start writing these numbers in, and that's actually where I was ranking my pain and my anxiety. And that the reason why I did that is, unfortunately, when I'm with my family, my mild liners bleed like terribly. I don't know if you guys can see that, but like they bleed very, very heavily. While I'm out there, not entirely sure why. Maybe it's the change in altitude. So to avoid like having massive amounts of bleeding from that page onto the page behind it, I was just like, you know what, I can color it in when I get back, but I'm at least going to record what it is in writing. And then I did a lot of flying. So then we get to April, which still not over. But yeah, I wanted to keep this simple. I knew my main thing was going to be editing my thesis. I am reading this month, but I actually am not reading fiction like I originally have depicted here. Instead, I'm reading currently The 12-Week Year by Brian Moran and Michael Lennington. And I'm enjoying that so far. And I'm going to see about incorporating that principle into my next month. So, yeah, and then it's pretty much just straight planning for a lot of things. I've just been really busy, so it's mostly really been just task lists, and sometimes nothing because I don't even dig into my planner. And so I had several days where I wasn't in there, and so I don't mind showing this one because this is a brain dump of things I have to do for one of my jobs, but I'm using the acronym. So I was just like, okay, here's some notes on my job. And then more dailies. I got a new fountain pen and new ink, and so I was testing it out. Like you do. And then I get to today. So, that all said and done, it's time for me to go ahead and set up the month of May. So I'm going to go ahead, time-lapse the video from here, and I will see you on the other side. so that is it for me in the month of May. I've set my goals up based upon what I had in my Lloyd's term, and like also threw in a couple of events. I'm going to my college's alumni weekend for my undergrad. That's going to be in the first weekend, and then my defense for my PhD is on May 30th. So I've got that to look forward to. And of course, May contains the all-important Star Wars Day. And so, in addition to the sticker, I decided to write May the 4th be with you. Because that's why it's Star Wars Day. I wanted to throw in a few more stickers, but I cannot find my sticker album right now. So that is the silliness that is currently occurring for me. But I'm going to go ahead, slot that back there, close up, and say thank you all so much for tuning in. And I hope to see you all in my next video. And in the meantime, have a wonderful month of May. I will talk to you all later. Bye.